Part 57. Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 562. The Alchemy Council on the shore saw that the situation was not right and immediately blew the horn to withdraw the troops. Many corpses floated out of the trench. The pirates had obviously won, but they ran away again. The people in the council saw that there must be something wrong. Duke, the director of the Court of Justice, quickly suggested to the Constitutional Army Navy, Major General, immediately keep the ships away from the sea area. Furnace is an extremely cautious person. He also has the ability to be immortal. If he feels dangerous and runs away like crazy, then this place will really become very dangerous. The reason why the Alchemy Council became less active this time was because the Navy felt offended after participating in the treasure plan. The Navy insisted that if the giant continued to transport treasures in the sea area, they would definitely know, absolutely know, so the Navy believed that the treasure was fake. If it was not fake, it would prove that the Elba Alchemy Council Constitutional Army Navy were all good for nothings, which the Navy would never admit. At this time, the Rear Admiral heard the suggestion of the Director of the Court of Justice and immediately ordered the army to retreat. He didn't want to come in the first place. This was a humiliation to their ability. Only his idleness would cause the great pirate Roberts to hide the treasure at such a close distance. After the Constitutional Navy withdrew, only the witch hunters of the Court of Justice were left here. Director Duke needed to know the follow-up of this matter. 50 nautical miles, the 7th level dolphin wizard arrived at the scene in less than an hour. Duke looked at the sea with a telescope at the seaside. He saw Bellatrix, the 7th level dolphin wizard, sitting on the Starlight Dolphin. Bellatrix's face was livid, looking at the bodies floating on the sea, including Wells's body. Wells's head was blown off, leaving only an ugly and bloody broken neck floating with the sea water. The surviving Pisces wizard didn't even know how to deal with the scene. After the 7th level wizard Bellatrix confirmed that Wells's relics had been taken away, he gritted his teeth and waved his hand. A group of sea fish swam up from the bottom of the sea, opened their mouths and bit the corpses, dragged Wells and other wizards' bodies into the sea. Sea burial is a custom of the Martini Islands and also the destination of Pisces wizards. Go to the Black Gold Institute to offer a reward. The Ancient Sea Wizard Association is willing to exchange the head of the furnace for a level 7 wizard weapon. A level 5 Pisces wizard stepped forward. "Teacher, I'll do it right away." The Pisces wizard hesitated again and again, but still had to say something that embarrassed the Wizard Association at this time. "Teacher, do you want to go to the trench to take a look? The giant treasure seems to have some problems." Bellatrix glanced at the level 5 Pisces wizard and had a bad premonition. The Starlight Dolphin took Bellatrix into the trench. After a few minutes, a water column with a diameter of hundreds of meters suddenly appeared on the sea surface. A huge amount of sea water rushed out of the water, as if a terrible earthquake or explosion had occurred under the sea surface. The water column turned completely white, and it was full of violent energy. Bellat emerged from the water column, and the fat on his angry face kept twitching. "Furnace. This is too much." Bellat was shaking with anger, but there was no good way. After forcibly suppressing his anger, he took the people of the Wizard Association and left the sea area. After the people of the Wizard Association left, Director Duke brought the witch hunters to the sea area where the incident occurred. On the ship, Director Duke waited for his diving men to bring investigation evidence. Soon, the witch hunters made a big discovery. "Director. It's gold foil." A lot of gold foil was found on the seabed, and there is no gold at all. "No gold?" Director Duke thought about it and instantly understood one thing: the giant treasure may be a man-made lie, and there is no giant treasure at all. After the death of the underwater monster Roberts, the news of the giant treasure soon spread, and this news was probably released by the pirates. Judging from the performance of the pirates in grabbing treasure, they didn't seem to care about the treasure, but seemed to find an opportunity to fight with the ancient Sea Wizard Association. The furnace behaved normally at first, but the final escape was a little abnormal. After hunting for the level 6 relic, he fled here at the fastest speed. If there was really a treasure, he would not have escaped so decisively. Unless the treasure is fake, it is a false news released by the furnace, and it is the bait for the furnace to fish. The Navy is right, they can't be so incompetent. A big pirate hid treasure in the sea area, and they didn't find it for so many years. This is too fake, they don't believe it. Director Duke sighed and stroked the railing. The furnace is not only immortal, but also has a very low moral bottom line. If the furnace is deeply tied to the nobles and stands on the side of the nobles, what can we do? The subordinates can't answer this question. The affairs of these big men are too far away from them. The Constitutional Army has found out the strength of the evil god Navy. They think it's time to launch a general attack on the nobles. Whether it is the front line or the port of Quarter, a counter-attack campaign will be launched immediately. At that time, it will be a real decisive battle with the nobles. It is the misfortune of the Constitutional Army that the nobles have such an ally. Duke couldn't answer this question either. He could only report what happened here and let the higher UPS make a decision. By the way, spread the news and say that the giant treasure is fake. The real giant treasure was taken away by the furnace that killed Roberts a long time ago. The treasure news here is used by the furnace to hunt for relics. This news must be spread, otherwise the sea area will be full of pirates looking for treasure in the future, which will be very troublesome. After escaping for dozens of miles, Rudolph no longer felt that he was shrouded in danger. He then withdrew the Starlight South ship and waited on the sea for the Blood Lake and the hospital behind him. Half an hour later, the Blood Lake and the hospital arrived. The two big pirates flew over, and before the furnace invited them, the two big pirates rushed to the volcano. Eric Red was not in the mood to study the batwing magic weapon of the poor sailor Drake. He looked at the furnace with a green face, which made Rudolph a little embarrassed. Drake also had a green face and stared at the furnace. The two men seemed to want to swallow Rudolph. Hey, don't be so serious. We worked together to solve a level 6 wizard of the Wizards Association. The Wizards Association's strength has been greatly damaged. Isn't this a good thing? Why do you two look so ugly? Red Eric had no interest in the Wizards Association. He asked, Furnace, where is the giant treasure? Giant treasure? It's still in the trench. If you want to get it, you can go there tomorrow or the day after tomorrow when the people there disperse. No one will bother you. Why don't you tell the truth now? Rudolph saw that Red Eric seemed really angry. He turned to Zachary and said, Do you have any unused gold foil? Bring some to Mr. Eric. Zachary said, Yes. I'll get it now. Drake thought it was ridiculous. Why take gold foil at this time? We want gold as high as the giant. You want it too, then get some for Mr. Drake. Zachary heard Rudolph's arrangement and went to get the gold foil immediately. Holding the gold foil, Drake didn't react. Furnace, I have no grudge against you, why are you playing tricks on me? You said this is the giant's treasure. Rudolph said, Don't disbelieve it, it's absolutely true, this is the giant's treasure. The so-called giant's treasure is just gold foil on the stone. Don't tell me, the technical difficulty is quite high, this is a delicate job. Eric and Drake looked at each other, and it was indeed the case. It was a trap set by Furnace from beginning to end, and they were acting with Furnace. Eric in red said bitterly, Level 6, Wizard Wells is your giant treasure, right? If you insist on saying so, I can't help it. Don't be angry, you two. I'm a furnace that keeps its word. Wait for me for one night, and I'll make your magic weapons for you. Aren't they just 2 level 5 magic weapons? I have a lot of relics. Don't let our harmony be hurt by 2 magic weapons. Hey. Don't leave. It's not easy to meet in the vast ocean. Why don't you chat for a few more words? The two big pirates felt that the furnace was too hateful and didn't want to stay for a second. If I were full-time, it wouldn't be difficult to write 6,000 or 8,000 words a day. It's work that delayed my writing. When the holiday comes, I can't stop adding more, and I can't stop it. Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 563. Eric walked a few steps and turned back to emphasize, so we are all playing along with you. If you give me 2 magic weapons as soon as possible, then your tricking us will be written off. Rudolph thought that the 2 men didn't even want the magic weapons, but it turned out that they just didn't want to see him. He said, "Why is the word tricking so ugly? Please change the word. I am trying to take the level 6 relics by wits." After sending the 2 big pirates away temporarily, Rudolph prepared to work overtime on the deck of the volcano. Rudolph had a lot of priest relics. The naval battle with the evil god cult made him have no shortage of priest relics. He planned to use the priest relics to make 4 magic weapons. The 2 big pirates didn't agree on what kind of magic weapons, and they didn't pick and choose. Any level 5 magic weapon was very useful. The most important thing in the Sarago Sea is reputation. These level 5 magic weapons must be given out, otherwise Rudolph will not be able to cooperate with the big pirates in the future. Rudolph did not plunder like other pirates. Under his control, the pirate ships of Redbeard Island, such as the Volcano, Green Skull, and Giant, never plundered merchant ships, which seemed out of place. Although he despised the pirates' plundering behavior, Rudolph needed the help of the pirates in fighting against the evil god cult. Rudolph had many relics and many secret formulas. When selecting relics for making magic tools, he deliberately avoided the relics needed for the secret formula of the Southern Skywind constellation. He left some relics to his 2 students in Fabreau City. Arimon and Blanca were both wind twin wizards. Thinking of his 2 students, Rudolph felt unfortunate for them. If Arimon and Blanca went to the South Continent for promotion, they would find that the South Continent was full of enemies of his teacher, and they were the kind of enemies who wanted to skin their teacher alive and fight to the death. There was no way, because their teacher was so outstanding that he provoked most of the forces in a short period of time. As compensation, Rudolph left them 2 relics, so that they could go back quickly and not die in the Southern Continent when they were promoted. The speed of making witchcraft instruments was very fast. After getting 2 level 5 witchcraft instruments each, Eric and Drake did not make a wasted trip. They couldn't wait to say goodbye to Rudolph and rushed back to their pirate port. In the second half of the night, Rudolph was free and had time to study his new relics. In the star map, the level 6 whale star stone had already lit up the alpha star of Taurus, and the progress of Taurus had reached 1/10. Taurus is an earth sign. After lighting up the last 3 earth signs, the 12 zodiac signs gathered together. I don't know what changes the star map will have. The star map is so mysterious that Rudolph even suspected that the evil god was not wrong in his fraud. The star map is indeed related to omniscience. Otherwise, it cannot explain why the star map knows all witchcraft production methods, and all forbidden techniques. Whenever he looked at the star map quietly, Rudolph always felt fear. That was the fear of facing the powerful and the unknown. 3 suspended stars fell from the alpha star of Taurus, and Rudolph saw 3 options in it. Level 6 water transformation, level 6 whale devouring mouth, level 6 serpent secret. Level 6 serpent secret, Rudolph thought about it and ruled out this option. This time he was unlucky and did not encounter the constellation secret that interested him. There are only 10 constellations in the mid-sky. He now has the Sexton secret and the Hydra secret. The Sexton secret is a fire secret, and the Hydra secret is a water secret suitable for Rudolph. It is not difficult to collect all 10 secrets, and he will not force a secret that is not suitable for him. Serpent and Ophiuchus appeared together. In ancient mythology, serpent and the giant snake represent doctors who save people, and Rudolph is not interested in saving people. Asclepius, who holds a giant snake in both hands, is the god of medicine. After being killed by Hades, Asclepius was raised to the starry sky by Zeus and became Ophiuchus and Serpens. Recently, I have encountered a lot of constellations related to medicine. Delphinus and Serpens are both related to medicine. Is the wheel of fortune reminding him to do more good things? Or does the wheel of fortune think that Rudolph is a little biased, and it is time to get some plague medium relics? Serpens and Hydra are both snakes. The characteristics of Serpens should be repeated in function with Hydra, so he gave up this secret formula. The Xuanhuan star field is a narrow star field sandwiched between the southern and northern star fields. From the information Rudolph has collected now, the 6th level wizard is more like a transitional stage, a stage from the southern sky to the northern sky. It's time to take a breath. The selection and matching of the 42 southern constellations is very stressful. The relics of the 3 strongest constellations are so difficult to obtain. If the Xuanhuan secret formula is also like this, Rudolph will die of greed sooner or later, and he will lose a layer of skin if he doesn't die. I didn't expect that wizards are quite good at self-protection. There is actually a buffer stage after the fiercely competitive level 5 wizard stage. The second option, the whale swallowing giant mouth, is a method of making a wizard weapon. This option was also ruled out by Rudolph. The level 6 whale star stone is a water wizard relic. Rudolph will also use it to complete the Hydra secret formula. It is impossible to make it into a wizard weapon. After thinking about it, Rudolph chose the level 6 water transformation technique. The knowledge about this technique entered Rudolph's mind, and he immediately understood the function of this technique. The water transformation technique can transform your body into water, which can be integrated into rivers, oceans, and other water bodies, or various starlight creations. The Starlight South ship is composed of the star power of the constellation Argo. The hydration technique can turn Rudolph into water. After hydration, Rudolph's own star power can be integrated into the Starlight South ship, thereby increasing the energy intensity of the Starlight South ship. According to the casting method of the 6th level water transformation, Rudolph can easily get a weakened version of the 5th level water transformation. When he reaches level 6, the Starlight South ship is still a level 5 magic. At that time, he can use the 6th level water transformation, and the Starlight South ship will be stronger, so it can be used in higher level battles. The core ability of the South ship going back to the past does not vary with different levels, but the strength of the South ship is only the strength of level 5. With the water transformation, the practicality of the South ship in high-level battles has become much stronger. This spell will solve the problem of the low energy level of the South Sky constellation creation, and it is a growth magic. Water transformation is a very magical magic. Under the effect of water transformation, Rudolph did not find wells in the Starlight Blue Whale, and the confusion function is very practical. The weakness of this spell is that if the Starlight creation using water transformation is killed, the wizard will also die. Death is not Rudolph's weakness. Rudolph often dies and it does not affect him. If Rudolph knew this information earlier, he could have destroyed the Starlight Blue Whale with all his strength as soon as he saw wells, and the battle might have ended faster. It was another fruitful day, satisfying. I must spend more time with Yvonne tonight, so that Yvonne can share the joy with me. I don't know whether it's Rudolph's or Yvonne's. Rudolph hugged Yvonne and said, "Yvonne, after replenishing at the nearby port, you and the volcano will go back to Redbeard Island first. I'm going to be promoted. The promotion location is far away and I may encounter danger." Rudolph has the Starlight South ship, which can conveniently sail on the sea or the seabed, and is more concealed. If the volcano follows him, it may expose his promotion and cause unnecessary trouble. Rudolph, where can you go without encountering danger? That's right. If you want to become stronger, You will always encounter various dangers. After you are promoted, I will help you find a level 6 werewolf and let you be promoted as well. I envy Silver Snake a little bit. She can be promoted while being entangled. Have you thought about it? If you want, the second half. The second half. After this separation, I don't know when I can see Rudolph again. Yvonne knew that she couldn't delay Rudolph. In this dangerous world, many disasters could destroy everything they have now. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 564. The port of the Alchemy Council seemed not to recognize the volcano as a pirate ship and allowed the volcano to replenish and leave. Rudolph could think of Duke, the director of the trial hall, praying frantically, "Let these pirates go, I don't want to see these pirates for a day." After the volcano left the port, Rudolph was going to the Black Gold Institute at the port. There were some things he needed to explain to the Black Gold Institute. When he was walking in this port city, he found that this night was particularly lively, with people walking through the streets and running towards the center of the city. It was very free tonight, and Rudolph was going to join in the fun and see what was happening in the city center and why so many people were running to the city center. After arriving in the city center, I found a tall beheading rack in the city center. A tall and thin door-shaped wooden frame, with a large trapezoidal blade at the top. The large blade is about 1 meter wide and is pulled to a high altitude by ropes and pulleys. The upper part of the blade is black, but the lower part is sharp silver. The beheading rack, an ancient instrument of torture, was brought out. It is said to be ancient because the beheading rack was a torture device specially prepared for nobles during the Constitutional War. Whenever the alchemists capture a city, the first thing they do is to capture the nobles and send them to beheading racks. Now that the beheading racket is out, it proves that the alchemist has captured the noble. The Black Gold Institute chess piece in Rudolph's hand moved. However, Rudolph did not go to the Black Gold Institute in the direction pointed by the chess piece. Instead, he input his star power into the chess piece. This chess piece is the Black King chess piece, a VIP chess piece specially made by Black Gold for Rudolph. Not long after, Celine followed the guidance of the chess piece and came to the square, stood beside Rudolph, and together they waited for the noble to be beheaded. Rudolph asked, "The Eagle's Beak Peninsula is far away from the battlefield. How could the nobles be captured here?" Celine explained, "That was a noble who did not respond to Carloman 16 and did not go to the royal capital to report to the king. After the war began, he stayed in the city and announced that he would give up his noble status and choose as a rich man. They continue to live in the castle where their family has lived for generations. Then he has an affair with the royal noble. As far as I know, some time ago, he was detained by the Alchemy Council and has been filing charges. I heard that the deputy speaker was interested in this noble's land." After Rudolph thought for a while, he sighed. If it was just the deputy speaker who wanted to seize his land, then the situation would not be that bad. Just be afraid, it is the Alchemy Council that is inciting hatred against the nobles and pushing the nobles out to sacrifice the flag. This is why a beheading rack is used. This is a torture device specially designed for the trial of nobles. Mr. Rudolph, I don't quite understand. Even if it's for judging nobles, what's so bad about it?" Rudolph explained. "Up until now, the civil war in Elba has not seen a legal break between the two sides. The slogan of the Alchemy Parliament is to judge the royal family, but it does not target all knights. The slogan of the royal family is to replace the top leaders of the parliament and clean up the worms in the parliament. In other words, both the nobles and the alchemists still recognized that the two sides were a kingdom, and the civil war was for the sake of the kingdom. However, once the contradiction expands, the two sides may become the United States of Alchemists and the Empire of Knights. then there will be no room for change. The intensity of the war will increase to another level, and it is likely to become a fully mobilized war. Once it enters a fully mobilized war, all the men of the right age in the city will step onto the battlefield. At that time, the knights and the alchemists will be left to fight each other. Rudolph said with a headache, "Actually, I don't care about this civil war. For me, it's best if the knight wins. If the knight loses, it's not so bad if the alchemist wins. What I'm worried about is that once the situation continues to deteriorate, if the evil god church comes back, it will be troublesome." Celine didn't understand why Mr. Furness was worried about these situations. She just admired Mr. Furness even more for thinking about these grand issues. Unlike the Black Gold Institute, she just thought it was great that the transaction volume had doubled every year since the beginning of the Civil War. After a congressman read out the verdict, the former nobleman, who had more than a dozen alchemical daggers stuck in his body and whose ultimate strength was sealed, was pushed out wearing a hood. After the hood was taken off, the citizens recognized the former high-ranking Viscount. Amid the cheers of the citizens, the executioners cut the ropes, dropped the heavy beheading blade, and severed the head of the former Viscount. Rudolph stopped listening to the cheers of the citizens and turned to leave. The former Viscount may have been guilty, but now he was just a symbol of hatred for the nobility. Rudolph feels that promotion is more urgent and that drastic changes may occur on the northern shore of the Sarago Sea. Thinking about the evil cult preaching in the ruins, Rudolph felt that he especially wanted to be a real scavenger. "Celine, I would like to ask, is there wilderness to the northwest of the Eagle's Beak Peninsula?" "Yes, Mr. Furness. I want to buy a map of the werewolf forces in the nearby wilderness. I'm not in a hurry. I will buy that map after a while." "Okay, Mr. Furness, I will let the Black Gold Institute start collecting intelligence and making maps." After arranging this matter, Rudolph left the Eagle Beak Peninsula, and Celine also returned to the Black Gold Institute. In the Black Gold Institute, the guide Meriwether found Celine. "Look, there is a deal about the furnace." Celine is a little strange. She is the exclusive trader of the furnace. She doesn't even know about the transaction about the furnace. Is it a new one tonight? When she saw the contents of the transaction, her slender eyebrows raised behind her rimless glasses. The Ancient Sea Wizard Association announced that the head of the furnace can be exchanged for a level 7 magic weapon. Celine was a little surprised, but after a moment she felt that this transaction was very fair, and even Mr. Furness suffered a little. "Okay, I know, I will tell Mr. Furness the content of this transaction privately, and let him be careful of the Ancient Sea Wizard Association." Meriwether said quickly, "How can I tell Furness? We at the Black Gold Institute must adhere to the principle of confidentiality and must not tell Furness." Celine did not comment. If she really didn't want Furness to know, then she wouldn't know. Since she was told, it means that Furness can also know. Principles are mainly used for flexibility. "Celine, do you know where Furness has gone?" "I don't know." "You are Furness's exclusive trader, and you are also a member of the Black Gold Office. Don't consider the problem completely from Furness's perspective so early." "Mr. Meriwether, I really don't know where Mr. Furness has gone. Didn't he say where he would go if he had trading needs in the future? Fabreau City? Port of Cordoue? Or should we set up a Black Gold office on Redbeard Island? He didn't say." Mr. Furness seems to think that the situation is tense recently, and he doesn't know where he will go. Meriwether nodded. He felt that Celine might really not know where Furness had gone. Anyway, Furness was not on the volcano. Someone saw Furness leave the volcano and disappeared. The volcano will return to Redbeard Island. If Furness, such a dangerous person, is out of sight, many people will not be able to sleep. Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 565. In the deep sea, the Starlight South ship took Rudolph to his destination, the 6th-level Midhia Hydra secret ritual site, the Hydra Venom Sea. The Hydra Venom Sea is located in the United States of Cantal on the east side of the northern continent. The United States of Cantal is northeast of the Kingdom of Elba. The United States of Cantal did not participate in the war, but made a lot of money by making war money in the war. It is said that many alchemists of the Elba royal family came from the United States of Cantal. There are no nobles in the United States of Cantal. Their constitutional war is very cruel. All nobles were sent to the guillotine. Even the previous king was tried and executed. Now the United States of Cantal has no historical baggage and can make war money with confidence. This is unlike the Carolingian kingdom. The Carolingian kingdom is a constitutional monarchy. Although the alchemy parliament holds power, it always has to worry about the restoration of the nobles. This is a long-distance trip. The Blue South ship quickly travels through the seabed and heads northeast all the way. The speed of the South ship on the sea, on the seabed, and in the sky is the same. In order to hide and not attract other people's attention, Rudolph chose to move forward on the seabed. The furnace completely disappeared from everyone's sight, which made it more mysterious. In addition, the furnace's recent actions were like assassins, which made the ancient Sea Wizard Association and the evil god cult increase their defense level. They were nervous every day, fearing that the furnace would suddenly appear to assassinate their core figures. At the level 5 wizard stage, Rudolph had no regrets. He contained the characteristics of the 3 strongest constellations in the south sky. Now that the 3 relics of the Mid-Sky Hydra have been collected, it is time to be promoted as soon as possible and become a level 6 Mid-Sky Wizard. Hydra is a constellation of water wizards, which is very suitable for Rudolph. Rudolph is very satisfied with this Mid-Sky constellation. With the speed of the South ship, which is 5 times that of an ordinary steamship, Rudolph spent 20 days and finally arrived at the territorial waters of the United States of Cantal. The Hydra Venom Sea is a purple sea area with purple beaches and purple sea water. The name of the Venom Sea is an ancient name. Now people here call it Romantic Purple Beach and Romantic Purple Sea. It is said that thousands of years ago, there lived a terrifying multi-headed giant snake hydra in the sea area. The multi-headed snake is as tall as a mountain, has terrible toxins, can spit poisonous mist to harm people, and cut off one of its heads, and 2 heads will grow immediately. There is an explanation in the mythology why the Venom Sea is purple and the beach is also purple. The reason is that a war of gods broke out in the sea area. The hero Hercules finally killed the multi-headed snake Hydra. The toxins in Hydra's body exploded, dyeing the sea water and the beach purple, and it has not faded for thousands of years. The good-hearted Cantal geological alchemist analyzed the beach and sea water here and found the reason why the beach and sea water are purple. After his investigation, he found that the reason why the beach is purple is because this is a manganese garnet vein. The purple manganese garnet is washed by sea water and eventually turned into purple broken sand, which also has a purple beach. As for the purple sea water, it is because there are some submarine craters that have been erupting under the sea surface. A large number of special algae that live on volcanic eruptions gather around the craters. These algae have the characteristics of ancient organisms. Many ancient organisms are anaerobic organisms, and their color is not green, but purple. Of course, people on the beach do not believe the alchemist's investigation, because the alchemist's explanation is too rigid and does not attract tourists at all. People on the beach believe that this is the burial place of the ancient giant snake Hydra, which is more conducive to promoting tourism. The story of the multi-headed giant snake Hydra and the story of the hero Hercules destroying Hydra are obviously more attractive. After 20 consecutive days of rushing, Rudolph was very tired. He planned to rest on the shore for a day, adjust his state, and then complete the Zhongtian secret. Finding a seaside tavern with a simple and clean decoration, Rudolph pushed the door open and went in. It was morning, and there were not many guests in the tavern. What made Rudolph feel comfortable was that there was no stink left by hangover drunkards in this tavern. The windows were open, and the moist air from the seaside kept the place fresh. "Boss, one room, the best one." The tavern owner was a middle-aged uncle with a delicate beard. "Alone." "Alone." Rudolph was very curious why the boss was a little surprised when he saw that he was alone. "Are you here to heal your wounds?" "Heal your wounds?" Rudolph was stunned. "What wounds to heal?" "Love wounds, I understand. Young man, have you been heartbroken? Did you come to this romantic purple sea alone to use memories to soothe your emotional wounds?" This boss was used to seeing love, hate, and hatred by the romantic purple sea. Judging from his handsome middle-aged uncle's appearance, he must have had no shortage of women when he was young. "You found out about this. Please let me heal alone. If I don't ask you to, please don't do the room cleaning and other services." "Understood. I'll give you a room on the third floor with a view of the romantic purple sea. The windows on the third floor are the largest. Many people like to stare at the purple sea in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows." "Thank you. This is exactly what I need. No wonder it's called the romantic purple sea. Even the tavern owner is so gossipy. He must have seen many young people who come here for vacation or to heal." After Rudolph entered the guest room, he saw a huge arched floor-to-ceiling window. The floor-to-ceiling window was a bay window with windows on both sides. There was only one large glass on the front that was as high as the roof, which was very transparent. Outside, the purple sea is in full view. The red sun lifted by the morning glow sprinkles the sunlight on the purple sea, sparkling. The reflection of the sun is broken by the waves, shining with purple and pink crystal light. The scenery is really nice. Rudolph quickly draws the curtains and prepares to sleep all day. When the tavern owner came to the road to throw away the garbage at noon, he turned around and saw the closed curtains on the window of Rudolph's room on the third floor. When he came to the romantic purple sea, he didn't look at the sea view and stayed with the curtains drawn all day. The young man's emotional injury is not light. How sad it must be. Until the evening, Rudolph woke up from hunger and went downstairs to eat something. There are also many young people in the tavern at night. It seems that the purple sea attracts many young people because of her special appearance. After dinner, Rudolph asked for a glass of wine and did a simple divination while drinking. The copper coin popped out and spun on the table. The prophecy interfered with the coin's rotation. After a few seconds, the coin stopped spinning and began to vibrate on the table, and finally stopped on the table. The reverse side was facing up, so it was not suitable for promotion tonight. After Rudolph collected the copper coin, he drank a big sip of wine, stood up confidently, and prepared to see why he was not suitable for promotion. "Are you kidding? Rudolph is so strong now that he is not afraid of death, so why is he afraid of a little bit of trouble?" When he first entered the sea area in the morning, he had set the node to return to the past. At most, he could return to the past. Nothing could threaten Rudolph. Rudolph could not die 9 times in a row. If it really happened, Rudolph could die 9 more times. Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 566. As soon as he went out, Rudolph was shocked. There were so many people on the beach. People were hiding under umbrellas when the sun was not shining during the day. There were too many people in the evening. Couples are walking on the beach, some with children. They step on the beach, build sand castles, and swim in the sea with swimming rings. The sun is setting and the high temperature has receded. The seaside is the most comfortable at this time. The purple sea and purple sandy beach reflect the glow, making the place even more dreamlike. The romantic purple sea is really a good holiday destination. The purple sand beach alone can attract many people. With the Kingdom of Elba blocking the south, the kingdoms and the United States in the north don't have to worry too much about the invasion of the evil cult. I wonder how long the peace of the United States of Cantal can last. Rudolph walked for a long time before he got away from the crowded beach and found the rocks on the edge of the beach. There are two children rummaging under the rocks for crabs next to the reef. The parents of these two children are also very caring and are not afraid of their children encountering accidents. Of the two children, one looks normal, while the other has some dementia, seems mentally retarded, and has uncoordinated limbs. It was already 5 or 6 years old. There was a long line of drool hanging from the side of the mouth. It fell into the sea water and was pushed and swayed left and right by the sea water. Seeing Rudolph standing on the reef, a normal child asked doubtfully, "Uncle, what are you going to do? Do you want to dive? Call brother." The child scratched his head and didn't know why he called him brother. Rudolph was neatly dressed. Most of the men on vacation only wore shorts, so he did not look so young. He ignored the two children and a small Starlight Southern ship appeared on his body. "Apostle! He is an apostle!" The normal little boy yelled in surprise. For children, except for alchemists and druids, other apostles are dangerous apostles. In the United States of Cantal, even knights are relatively rare. Watching the two children running away, Rudolph looked at the sick child with uncoordinated limbs in confusion. He didn't know what was wrong with the child. It seemed that his nerves could not control his muscles. His limbs were in different directions. He started to fall after running for a few steps. Fall. Rudolph frowned as he turned around and jumped into the water. From time to time, small spots of light lit up on the surface of the Xuanhuan. Something was attacking the Xuanhuan. The intensity of the attack was very low, but it always existed. After far away from the coastline, Rudolph emerged from the water and suspended on the surface. The characteristics of Vela now give Rudolph a very strong ability to control the wind, and levitation has become very simple for him. He held some seawater in his palm and input star power into the seawater, and found that the seawater did not respond to star power. The seawater was obviously slightly irritating, but he couldn't identify the source of this irritation. If the seawater is harmful to Rudolph, it will also be harmful to other people. Rudolph's perception is much sharper than ordinary people. I wonder if the tourists on the shore can detect the abnormality of the seawater. There are some problems with this purple sea. It is indeed not suitable for promotion tonight. Rudolph wants to figure out the problem with the seawater first and does not dare to complete the secret technique rashly. He looked back at the beach and saw that it was full of people enjoying themselves. Many people would come to the beach at night to feel the ebb and flow of the tide. With doubts, Rudolph returned to the tavern first, wanting to investigate the origin of the irritation of sea water. Seeing Rudolph back, the tavern owner was very happy. "I'm glad to see you back. This is really a lucky thing." "Thank you, but where is the luck in my coming back? If you often stay by the romantic purple sea, you will hear many incidents of people throwing themselves into the sea after being slightly injured. Fortunately, you were strong enough and did not throw themselves into the sea." "That is indeed a lucky thing," Rudolph said. "Boss, I felt some irritation in the sea water, but I can't figure out where the irritation came from. Have other tourists encountered the same problem?" The tavern owner suddenly became serious. "Is the sea water irritating? Some people say that the sea water here is purple, which is different from the sea water in other places. There must be something wrong with the sea water. It is beautiful but not suitable for swimming. But the purple sea has always been purple. I haven't heard of any problems. Young people, don't think too much, there is absolutely no problem with the sea water here. This boss is a fanatical defender of the tourism industry and does not allow others to say anything bad about Zihai. Nothing comes of it here, and Rudolph has other ideas." In the Alchemy Academy of this tourist city, a laboratory is still lit at night. In the laboratory, several alchemists were busy in white lab coats. On the operating table were various chemical experimental supplies, including measuring cups, alcohol lamps, and some box-type reactors that Rudolph didn't recognize. The team leader was a balding middle-aged man. After working for a long time, he walked to his office and prepared to take a rest. He closed the door to his office and started making coffee. After he finished making the coffee, he turned around and found a person suddenly standing behind him. The team leader trembled all over, and after a moment he relaxed. "Are you here to kill me? I knew this day would come, come on, come on." Rudolph was a little confused. Are the alchemists here so self-conscious that they would not resist the wizard and obediently deliver the relics? No, Rudolph hasn't revealed his identity as a wizard yet. "I'm not here to kill you, alchemist." Rudolph took out a glass of sea water. "I am a tourist, and I found something strange in the sea water today. I will pay you to test the sea water to see what it is that makes me feel a little irritated." Sex. The alchemist team leader was stunned and looked at the visitor in surprise. "Are you really not here to kill me?" "Of course not. This is the first time I meet you. Why should I kill you? I really want to ask you to do a test. How much does your laboratory charge?" The team leader took the cup and put it on the table. "No need to test. I can tell you directly that the sea water contains mercury, so you will feel irritated." "Contains mercury? Nothing else?" "Nothing else. This toxin is a natural toxin, without the power of the apostles, not made by Scorpio wizards or plague vectors, so you feel uncomfortable, but you can't tell what it is." Indeed, Rudolph nodded. "I can sense that something is harmful to me, but there is no apostle power in the sea water, so I can't find any clues." It turned out to be mercury, which is a natural toxin. Hearing that no one deliberately harmed him, Rudolph breathed a sigh of relief. There are too many people who want to murder him, and he must be careful everywhere. If it was just mercury, it shouldn't affect Rudolph's promotion. He was afraid that some high-level apostles would target him with means he didn't understand. It's not a natural toxin, but it's artificially discharged into the sea. Oh? Then tell me in detail. Are you really not here to kill me? I emphasize again that I'm a tourist. After discovering that there is something wrong with the seawater, I came to confirm it out of caution. Okay, I believe it for now. The alchemist poured a cup of coffee from the coffee pot for Rudolph, handed it to Rudolph, and then said, "There is a nitrogen fertilizer company in the suburbs. They discharge pollutants from the production of nitrogen fertilizer into the seawater, including methyl mercury. If you go to the hospital, you will see many patients with mercury poisoning. I once wrote an article to expose this matter, but the people of the nitrogen fertilizer company blocked the article. My friend warned me that if I continued to study methyl mercury, the nitrogen fertilizer company might send someone to deal with me." "So that's it?" Rudolph asked. "Won't the tourism department come out to do something?" The director of the Cultural and Tourism Bureau has been accepting election donations from the nitrogen fertilizer company for many years. They are birds of a feather. Rudolph could only sigh. Although it did not affect his promotion, hearing these dark things still made him feel depressed. Rudolph said, "I have to do something very important. When I finish my work, I can help you according to the situation." "What's your name?" "Davin." "Mr. Davin, I will give you a copper coin. If someone really comes to kill you, you can input alchemical power into the copper coin. If you are lucky enough, I will come to save you when I am not busy at that time." Davin sent this strange guest away. He originally wanted to delay time and find an opportunity to escape, but this person did not seem to be sent by the nitrogen fertilizer company to kill him. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 567. After learning that the seawater contained only mercury and that some unknown means were not targeting Rudolph, Rudolph went to the sea to complete the promotion ceremony with confidence. He had a bit of persecution paranoia. There was nothing he could do. He had too many enemies. Every step on the road to promotion was to snatch food from the tiger's mouth. Sometimes, not only did he snatch food from the tiger's mouth, but he also had to chop off the tiger's head. It was impossible not to make enemies. It was always right to be careful. The Hydra constellation was a long and narrow strip, with a length of 1/4 of the starry sky. The midpoint of the Hydra constellation, corresponding to the direct point on the ground, was the Hydra Venom C. \U0026LT, secret formula of the Hydra constellation in the middle sky. Astrological map, Hydra hexagram. Main relic, level 6 water wizard relic or level 6 druid relic. Secondary relic, level 6 high priest relic or level 6 blood clan relic, level 6 giant relic or level 6 knight relic. Ceremony location, Hydra direct area, Hydra Venom C. \U0026GT. After Rudolph arrived at the sea area directly below the Hydra constellation, he began to arrange the secret pattern. First, the astrological hexagram. Rudolph used the levitation technique on the sea surface to manipulate the starstone powder to move around and drew the Hydra hexagram. The outer periphery of the Hydra hexagram is 2 rings, and the inner part is a hexagram composed of 2 inverted triangles intersecting each other. There are 3 rings side by side in the center of the hexagram, and there are complex Hydra star patterns inside the rings. This star pattern crosses the 3 rings and will connect the 3 relics together in a while. After drawing the Hydra hexagram, Rudolph placed the 3 relics in the hexagram. First, the main relic, the 6th level water wizard relic, the whale starstone. This relic came from Wells, the 6th level mid-sky Cetus wizard of the ancient Sea Wizard Association. Just like the prayer before the meal, Rudolph thanked Wells for his spirit of sacrifice. Whether he was voluntary or not, it was his sacrifice that brought Rudolph the opportunity for promotion. From this perspective, Wells is really a good man. I wish him a good life in the next life. Don't meet Rudolph again, and don't frame other wizards who go to the South Heaven for promotion. The Ancient Sea Wizard Association is a traitor among wizards. These Pisces wizards like to intercept the 4th level wizards who go to the South Continent for promotion. Rudolph will make good use of his relics and let his relics continue to shine. 2 secondary relics. The first secondary relic comes from the 6th level insect nest priest. After Rudolph completed the Southern Cross secret, the first enemy he encountered was not the first good person he met, which was the 6th level insect nest priest. This priest unfortunately gave his relics, and I also wish him good luck. This insect nest priest died in his own parish, which is a very rare event. I hope that the Insect Nest Church can correctly view his contribution to the church and not associate him with shame. The second secondary relic comes from Roberts, who does not leave anyone alive. Rudolph does not want to thank him. Among the 3 level 6 apostles, Roberts is a pure evil man, pure as can be, and the kind of evil who will deliberately torture ordinary people. Roberts has no port, which means that all his income comes from plundering. Roberts never leaves anyone alive during each plunder. Even if Rudolph doesn't need his relics, the 2 of them will sooner or later meet on the Sarago Sea and then have a dispute. Robert's behavior is so abominable that he will be killed by Rudolph sooner or later. Roberts is also a representative of evil pirates. He contributed more than half of the bad reputation of pirates. Other pirates also plunder, but at least they will keep the crew for ransom, which is not so cruel. The tyrannical Roberts thinks it's troublesome to ask for ransom, so he might as well use the time saved to plunder a few more merchant ships. After the 3 relics were placed, Rudolph looked up at the Hydra constellation. In Rudolph's field of vision, more than 20 bright stars in the narrow Hydra constellation formed the Hydra constellation line. At the end of the Hydra constellation, the constellation line forked, which was the multiple heads of the long snake. After everything was ready, Rudolph called on the star power, and the star power surged from his hands like clouds and mist, rushing towards the star image hexagram and relics in front. At the moment of contact with the star power, the apostle power in the relic dissipated, and the three special apostle power combinations, under the effect of the star map, jumped like breathing. The Hydra constellation in the starry sky echoed the secret formula, and the nodes of the Hydra constellation line, those bright stars also began to flicker regularly, and the huge star power contained in the Hydra constellation was ready to move. Just when Rudolph was looking forward to the star power of the Hydra constellation in the starry sky, the sea water under him reacted before the starry sky. There is an active submarine crater on the bottom of the Hydra Venom Sea. After the Hydra star power became active, the submarine crater seemed to be summoned from the distant starry sky, the internal pressure increased, and the magma and expanding gas in the volcano rushed upward unrestrainedly. There seemed to be a giant snake rolling in the volcano, like a legendary earth dragon turning over, arching the crater. The seabed vibrated, and the vibration was transmitted to the sea surface. Some waves even jumped off the sea surface, turned into white waves and fell into the sea surface again. Huge bubbles emerged from the sea water, each bubble was as tall as a person, which made the sea surface seem to boil. The boiling sea water suddenly turned dark purple, and streams of pungent gas emerged from the boiling sea water. Those bubbles were actually poisonous gas, which was the poisonous gas ejected after the eruption of the submarine volcano. The legendary multi-headed giant snake Hydra has a terrifying means of poisonous gas attack. The 9 snake heads can spit out poisonous gas and poisonous smoke, causing large-scale fatal casualties. These poisonous gases gushing out from the seabed are related to the legendary multi-headed snake Hydra. Judging from the smell of the poisonous gases, these poisonous gases are compound poisonous gases mainly composed of hydrogen sulfide. The seawater that dissolved the poisonous gases turned completely dark purple, rolling with poisonous waves and bubbles. There was so much poisonous gas that Rudolph had no way to avoid it. The poisonous gas entered Rudolph's body and poisoned him instantly. He was in an irresistible drowsiness, his skin turned cyanotic, and the toxins and reduced hemoglobin in his blood caused Rudolph's whole body to turn purple and he had difficulty breathing. This toxin is really strong. Without the blessing of the Apostle's power, the natural toxin alone made the level 5 Scorpio wizard unable to bear it. If the Scorpio toxin was added, how would others deal with it? Just when Rudolph felt that he could not hold on, the Hydra star power finally waited for all the conditions needed to descend. The wizard being poisoned was also the scene that the Hydra star power wanted to see. The huge star power fell from the sky. From Rudolph's perspective, it was like a long purple snake in a quarter of the starry sky, turning from a stretched snake into a coiled venomous snake. The ferocious snake head opened its scarlet mouth, which contained not only a snake tongue, but also 2 rows of fangs. The snake head was covered with densely packed dark purple poisonous horns like a jungle, and the cold vertical pupils were surrounded by gully-like snake scales. The vertical pupils of several snake heads lowered their heads at the same time, examining Rudolph, as if observing whether Rudolph could become a qualified 6th-level Hydra wizard. Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 568. In the starry sky, the purple snake seemed to be very satisfied with Rudolph. The snake head slowly sank, getting lower and lower. At a certain moment, it suddenly dived and rushed towards Rudolph. The wizards around must have known that someone had been promoted to a level 6 mid-sky wizard. For wizards, such a huge fluctuation of star power is easy to be discovered. At this time, in the trial office of the seaside city, the director suddenly broke through the window, ignored the glass shards, and fell into the yard. He stared at the distant sea in amazement. At the end of the field of vision, there seemed to be a purple vertical light. It can be seen that it is a vertical line from such a distance, proving that the vertical line is abnormally large. The director has a magic weapon, a level 4 burning candle, a magic weapon made by a fire wizard. He happened to use this magic weapon tonight. The magic weapon will convert his alchemical power into wizard star power, but the converted star power is abnormally chaotic, and even the flame cannot be maintained. It seems that something interferes with the converted star power. But he is not a wizard, and he is not clear about the details at the end of the field of vision. Not long after, a witch hunter stumbled out of the basement. He was the word spirit of the Judgment Bureau. What's going on? Director. A wizard is being promoted, and promoted to a level 6 Zhongtian wizard. Is there an active level 5 wizard in the Kantar United States recently? Why is there no warning in the internal intelligence? I don't know, Director, this is too sudden. Several wizards in this city looked towards the ocean at the same time. The promotion of high-level wizards brought huge star power fluctuations. They didn't dare to approach. This is the place covered by the Zhongtian star field. The wizards on the sea are being promoted to Zhongtian wizards. It's too late to rush over now. They will only meet the newly promoted Zhongtian wizards. The long snake composed of star power spanned countless spaces, dragging the starlight downwards, as if connecting heaven and earth. Unlike the star power beams of other constellations, the star power beams of Hydra are not straight, but winding and spiraling like snakes. In Rudolph's vision, the ferocious snake head grew bigger and bigger, so big that Rudolph could clearly see the details of the snake head. Purple snake head, cracked snake scales, terrifying fangs, and dense poisonous stings growing from the nostrils to the back of the head. When it was about to reach the ground, the snake head suddenly hovered in the air, looking down at Rudolph. Rudolph adjusted his breathing and prepared to welcome the star power of the Hydra constellation in the middle sky into his body. After pausing to accumulate power, the long snake composed of the star power of the Hydra constellation slowly raised its head and then smashed it hard at Rudolph. Rudolph felt that being smashed to pieces by such a snake head was not an exaggeration, but an accurate description. However, when the snake head met Rudolph, it suddenly turned into pure star power and poured into Rudolph's body from the top of his head. After the purple snake entered Rudolph's body, his body, which had just been poisoned, got better. The poisonous gas gushing out from the seabed could no longer affect him, and the poisoning symptoms disappeared. With the Hydra star power, the poisonous gas from the underwater volcano was no longer a problem. The rolling poisonous gas from the sea surface entered Rudolph's body freely. Rudolph's body could not accommodate so much Hydra star power. Like other starlight creatures, the star power dissipated outside, and a starlight water snake appeared around Rudolph. This water snake is the image of the multi-headed venomous snake Hydra in mythology, and is a smaller version of the starlight snake. The starlight snake Hydra is not the dark blue of other star powers, but the purple unique to venomous snakes. Hydra and Scorpio Wizard are really a perfect match. Rudolph's toxin will become very strong at the 6th level. The Hydra star power continued to fall like a waterfall, and the rolling poisonous gas on the sea surface continued to rise. Up and down, 2 purple lights filled the body of the starlight snake Hydra. The effect of the level 6 relic giant skull began to manifest. The body of the Hydra snake grew larger and larger, and it expanded like an inflatable, starting from being a little taller than Rudolph, to becoming twice, 3 times, 10 times Rudolph's height. Soon, an extremely huge starlight water snake appeared on the sea. The upper half of the Hydra snake stood up, and it was more than 200 meters tall as a level 6 giant. The dark purple snake body, majestically perched on the sea, illuminated the already purple sea surface with a strange purple light. This is the paradise of venom, this is the hell of living things. As the starlight long snake Hydra rose, Rudolph's position also became higher and higher, and finally stood on the head of Hydra, more than 200 meters high. Standing at such a height, overlooking the sea, even the waves looked like small water ripples. I wonder if the enemy will feel fear when encountering such a starlight long snake Hydra. Then, the second secondary relic, the insect nest relic, began to work. Hydra stood up the front half of its body, and from the turning point of the body, that is, the place where the standing body intersected with the sea surface, several new bodies grew out. In front of the several snake bodies were ferocious and huge snake heads, each of which opened its bloody mouth, revealing rows of sharp teeth inside. A snake tail, 9 snake bodies, and 9 snake heads formed a fan shape, covering a large area in front like covering the sky and the sun. The height of 200 meters made the 9-headed Hydra feel full of oppression. This is really a terrifying beast crawling out of mythology. The level 6 insect nest relic allows the starlight long snake Hydra to have unlimited snake heads. Even if a snake head is blown up, it can be reborn quickly. After the body became larger, the poisonous gas gushing upward seemed to be unable to satisfy Hydra's appetite. Hydra's 9 snake heads, except for the central snake head where Rudolph stood, all stretched out, head down, and began to swallow the poisonous gas. The main relic, the level 6 water wizard relic, the whale starstone, began to work. When facing the poison gas, each snakehead had the ability to swallow like a whale. The purple poison gas that permeated the water surface was quickly swallowed by the 8 snakeheads. The purple color on the body of the starlight long snake Sudila became more and more intense, indicating that there were more and more toxins in its body. However, these poison gases were still not enough. The 8 snakeheads swallowed the sea water that dissolved the poison gas. The 200-meter-high snake body swallowed a lot of sea water like a bottomless pit. The sea water was also not enough for the snakeheads to swallow. The 8 snakeheads suddenly stabbed down and stabbed deep into the seabed. The 8 snakeheads and snake bodies were like 8 giant pillars, blocking the surrounding sea water. The sea water between the 8 snake bodies was swallowed by the snakeheads. The sea water was vacuumed, and a deep puddle appeared, exposing the seabed and the submarine volcano. There was no heavy water pressure on the submarine volcano, and the internal and external pressures were unbalanced. At this moment, it ushered in the most violent eruption. The central snakehead where Rudolph was standing took the opportunity to stab downwards, opened its bloody mouth, and began to swallow the poisonous gas and smoke spewed out by the submarine volcano. The thick purple poisonous smoke rolled up and all entered the belly of the starlight serpent Hydra. The swallowing lasted for a long time, until the submarine volcano was swallowed dry and no more poisonous smoke came out, and the starlight serpent Hydra raised its head. The other snakeheads also left the sea water, and the surrounding sea water replenished it to fill the vacuum of the sea water. 8 huge snakeheads were pulled out of the sea water and swayed around. The largest snakehead in the middle opened its bloody mouth towards the starry sky and made a hissing and terrifying low roar. The upper body of Hydra alone was 200 meters high. Rudolph stood on the top of Hydra and officially became a level 6 mid-sky Hydra wizard. At this moment, Rudolph felt that he could defeat a fleet head-on. Standing on the top of the long snake, Rudolph felt that with a wave of his hand, the 9 snakeheads could smash everything in front of him, and the diffused poisonous fog could create a large area of no man's land. Just as Rudolph was enjoying the power, the copper coin began to vibrate, and the communication magic device he left for the alchemist Davin responded, and Davin was in danger. The starlight long snake Hydra disappeared, and the huge star power returned to Rudolph's body. This foreign country where he was unfamiliar with the place was just worried about not finding anyone to try his hand, and hoped that the Parliament of the Cantal United States would be more resistant. Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 569. While rushing back to the coast, Rudolph counted the other gift bags after his promotion in the Starlight South ship. There were so many gift bags that it would take a while to count them. At the level 6 wizard stage, the first 2 level 6 spells that can be used directly are level 6 giantization and level 6 water transformation. Rudolph can finally show their true level with these 2 spells. For example, now, the Starlight South ship is sneaking quickly under the sea with Rudolph. Rudolph's body disappears and merges with the Starlight South ship with water transformation. At this time, the energy level of the South ship is improved and it becomes a level 6 Starlight creation. The speed of the South ship is faster. The speed of ordinary steamships is about 20 knots, 20 nautical miles per hour. As the best sea ship on the sea, the speed of the South ship itself is about 100 knots. If other sea ships encounter the South ship, they can only watch the South ship quickly surpass them. Even if they burn the boiler red, they can't catch up with the South ship. After loading the 6th level of hydration, the speed of the Nanchuan increased again, and now the speed reached 150 knots, about 270 kilometers per hour. This is similar to the speed of the high-speed rail in Rudolph's previous life. When sailing on the sea, this speed is terrifying. It only takes 30 minutes for Rudolph to reach the shore. In addition to speed, the strength of the Nanchuan has also become stronger because of the hydration, which makes the Nanchuan more solid. Of course, if the Nanchuan is blessed with the hydration, if Rudolph does not end the hydration before blowing up the Nanchuan, he will also be killed, which is a small disadvantage. With the 6th level of giantization, Rudolph can also use the level of the 6th level giant, and this witchcraft is a little tasteless. With the terrifying giant beast of the Starlight Long Snake Hydra, the practicality of the giantization is not so strong. Hydra makes up for the defect of insufficient large-scale attack means when Rudolph attacks head-on. With a huge snake body and a large range of poisonous fog, the Starlight Long Snake Hydra is a walking war beast. In the level 6 ability, in addition to the Starlight Serpent Hydra and 2 witchcrafts, there are also many of his forbidden spells. Forbidden spells are really good, and they all have growth potential. In other words, forbidden spells are top-level witchcraft created by level 9 Zodiac wizards. Their own levels are all level 9. It is Rudolph's current level that is low and he cannot exert the full power of forbidden spells. The 3 puppets of the water forbidden spells, the Word Spirit Larry, the Blood Clan Vanya and the Silver Snake Abigail, have all become level 6 puppet apostles. For some reason, the star map did not give Rudolph the real Pisces forbidden spells and Cancer forbidden spells. The 3 puppets are Scorpio forbidden spells occupying the positions of Pisces and Cancer on the star map. Rudolph guessed that one possibility is that there have never been Zodiac Cancer wizards and Zodiac Pisces wizards in history. As a level 9 wizard, the Zodiac wizard is already the strongest wizard under immortality. Every one of them is bloody and the road to growth is extremely difficult. Refer to Rudolph. Rudolph is now a level 6 wizard, and he has made the apostles on both sides of the Sarago Sea miserable. At least Rudolph has not heard of the Zodiac Cancer wizard and the Zodiac Pisces wizard. The second possibility is that the Zodiac Cancer wizard and the Zodiac Pisces wizard did not create forbidden techniques, and their focus is not on inventing forbidden techniques. The third possibility is that the Scorpio wizard is too suitable for the forbidden puppet, so the star map automatically chooses the puppet. When controlling the puppet's apostle power is like the toxin injected by Rudolph in their bodies, which is handy. In short, Rudolph's water-based forbidden technique is actually a Scorpio forbidden technique that controls 3 puppets. The forbidden puppet is too powerful, and Rudolph even suspects that the Zodiac Scorpio wizard Mercury can only control 1 puppet. Rudolph can control 3 puppets with the help of the star map. The promotion of the word spirit requires changing the fate of a large number of people and making the predicted future a reality. This promotion ceremony is also called secular divination, which is extremely difficult. To promote a high-level vampire, they need to fill the ancient coffin with blood samples from enough people and sleep in the coffin. Therefore, they need to create a large number of blood servants. From this point of view, the lifespan of the vampires must be very long to complete the collection of blood samples. The chance of the blood mist night in Fabreau City is very rare. If the vampires turn the people of a city into blood servants, it is enough for the House of Lords to start the public security war procedure. The complete charm of the silver snake is more difficult. The silver snake is good at controlling low-level or equal-level apostles, but it is too difficult to charm high-level apostles. Although the silver snake is good at playing with men, the biological instinct of men is to spread their genes more. It is difficult for high-level apostles to be willingly and thoroughly charmed by the silver snake. The promotion ceremonies of these three apostles are very difficult. The higher the level, the more difficult it is. They can be promoted easily with Rudolf. Rudolf used to think that the puppetry was more like turning other apostles into complete magical tools, with their bodies, blood, nervous systems, and even souls becoming magical tools without will and only instinct. I don't know how many cruel experiments the Scorpio wizard Mercury, who developed this forbidden technique, did to achieve such a perfect forbidden puppet. Among the three puppets, Larry's ability changed the most. In addition to stronger divination ability and stronger danger intuition, the core ability of absolute prophecy has been greatly enhanced. Absolute prophecy has changed from 1-second absolute prophecy at level 5 to 3-second absolute prophecy at level 6, which lasts for 1 minute. During this minute, Rudolf can predict what will happen to him in the next 3 seconds. Unfortunately, the interval between casting is still 10 minutes. After using absolute prophecy once, it must be 10 minutes before it can be used again. It is very difficult to kill a word spirit. Word spirits are protected by powerful forces. Word spirits are popular in any force. Their divination can bring valuable information to powerful forces. Word spirits are also willing to rely on powerful forces, because in this way, they can influence the fate of more people through the policies of powerful forces and secretly promote themselves in a major event. As long as you implement the assassination plan against word spirits will feel it. Some word spirits have eyelid twitching, some word spirits are inexplicably flustered, and some word spirits always encounter accidents. These all mean that they are about to suffer bad luck and make them alert. When you bypass the heavy protection of powerful forces, deceive the intuition of word spirits, and really face word spirits have absolute prophecy. Unless your attack can make word spirits unable to dodge within 3 seconds, otherwise word spirits will definitely dodge in advance and counterattack. In addition to these abilities, word spirit Larry's curse and memory reading are also strengthened accordingly, which can deal with level 6 apostles, but Rudolf does not use these two abilities much. The curse requires biological evidence, and reading memory takes a long time to cast. Unless the opportunity is right, there is rarely an opportunity to appear. After reviewing the abilities of the word spirit Larry, Rudolf looked at another light cocoon in the star map, which contained the vampire Vanya. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 570. With Rudolph's promotion, Vanya was automatically promoted to become a level 6 vampire. He mastered the same abilities as Eric the Red, and his flying speed was faster, especially the core ability of the level 6 vampire, the sonic boom flash, which became twice the speed of sound. In other words, Rudolph can now move twice the speed of sound with one flash, a range of more than 600 meters, making Rudolph more flexible. There is also a way to repair the stiffness after the sonic boom flash. The level 6 vampire has a special ability, which is the bat flash. Before the battle, a large number of level 6 castle bats are released. These bats are very fast. The level 6 vampire can flash on any bat. This kind of flash with support does not cause stiffness. If you want to kill the level 6 vampire, you must first deal with all the castle bats. It is said that the longer the lifespan, the more afraid of death. The vampires have lived so long that they may be more afraid of death than Rudolph. Their abilities tend to dodge and escape. Rudolph likes the abilities of these cowards very much. In addition to the core abilities, the abilities of Batwings and Blood Tangents have also been improved accordingly. The core ability of Silver Snake Abigail, in addition to Charm, is her level 6 Petrification. Don't look directly at the Silver Snake, just like don't look directly at the evil god. Once you see the eyes of the Silver Snake, you will be petrified. This ability is very practical for sneak attacks, but Rudolph now has many abilities, and he doesn't want other men to have some strange thoughts about him, so he rarely uses the ability of the Silver Snake. After a fight, the enemy stared at Rudolph with a blurred look, which made Rudolph feel creepy. Rudolph prefers to kill the enemy rather than let the enemy look at him with resentful eyes. Why is there no charm for women? Aren't women lustful? Women are just lustful in their hearts, not as naked as men. The second type of forbidden technique is the fire forbidden technique. The levels of Lion King Starfire, Shooting Finger Fire, and Ares Heart Fire have all been upgraded. Lion King Starfire and Shooting Finger Fire, these two fire forbidden techniques that simulate star flames, like stars, reflect the temperature in color. When Rudolph first mastered these forbidden techniques at the level 4 wizard stage, the forbidden techniques were red sparks with a temperature of about 3000 degrees Celsius. Later, after being promoted to a level 5 wizard, they became orange-yellow sparks with a temperature of about 5000 degrees Celsius. Now that Rudolph has been promoted again, the color of the sparks has become more dazzling, turning into yellow-white sparks with a temperature of about 7000 degrees Celsius. Especially the Shooting Finger Fire, the energy is very concentrated, and the attack effect can be regarded as higher than the level 6, and slightly worse than the real level 7 means. In the case of a sneak attack, with an absolute hit, it is at least as powerful as the level 7 alchemical bullet. Once a hole is poked, ask the other apostles if they are afraid. Now the two level 7 alchemical bullets that Rudolph has left are not so helpful to him, and can be replaced by Shooting Finger Fire. As for the level 6 alchemical bullet, it is not as good as Rudolph's level 6 poison bullet. Rudolph's scorpion toxin carries the toxin of the mythical beast Hydra. The toxin of the 9-headed snake Hydra is very strong and much more effective than the alchemical bullet. The Starlight Water Snake Hydra is not only huge in size and has a strong attack from its snake head, but also can spit out poisonous mist. The hydrogen sulfide gas blessed by the mythical giant snake toxin has a very wide killing range. Hydra's toxin is a neurotoxin, and hydrogen sulfide mainly attacks the nervous system. Rudolph can adjust the damage level according to the concentration of the toxin, from low concentration irritating the trachea, to medium concentration death within an hour, to high concentration instant sudden death, which is flexible and changeable. Fortunately, I didn't buy the level 6 alchemical bullet at the Black Gold Institute, otherwise it would be wasted. Ares Pupil Fire has also been improved, which can resist the negative mental effects of level 6. This ability has rarely appeared now. Rudolph prefers to be reborn from the ashes, so that the negative state will completely disappear with Rudolph's death, and there will be less trouble. The last three wind-related forbidden techniques have also been strengthened. Gemini Forbidden Technique, Split Personality Seed and Libra Forbidden Technique, Salt Covenant that never betrayed can both control level 6 apostles. These two techniques are not instant forbidden techniques and require certain conditions to be met. Aquarius Forbidden Technique, Gentle Wine Waiter can now control level 5 apostles, making level 5 apostles Rudolph's wine waiter, which is even more unethical. Rudolph is so unethical that he is embarrassed to use it. He hopes that others will follow him because of his extraordinary personality charm, not because of the forbidden technique of Gentle Wine Waiter. It's a pity that not many people can see his personality charm for the time being. Their vision is really bad. In addition to level 6 witchcraft and 9 forbidden techniques, Rudolph's core abilities obtained when he was a level 5 South Sky Wizard can still be used. Phoenix Wizard's Rebirth from the Ashes, Southern Cross Wizard's Absolute Hit, and South Ship Wizard's Return to the Past, These three strongest South Sky constellation abilities involve certain rule powers represented by the constellations and can be used all the time, until Rudolph dies, or until the enemy dies. Rebirth combined with going back to the past will allow Rudolph to die 18 times in one night before he really dies. And after the 9th death, going back to the past can instantly allow Rudolph to leave the battlefield and return to the set node. If Rudolph sets out for the battlefield in the morning and sets the node somewhere on the road, a random place 100 kilometers away from the battlefield, the enemy will be confused to find that the furnace disappeared after dying 9 times, and after returning home and hearing the intelligence, the furnace appeared hundreds of kilometers away. In other words, if you want to kill the current Rudolph, you must set up an ambush in 2 different places. The second ambush location is still very difficult to determine, and you need to know where Rudolph set the node to go back to the past. Absolute hit makes Rudolph a fatal threat to level 7 and even level 8 apostles. If the Alchemy Council was bolder and gave Rudolph enough level 8 or even level 9 alchemy bullets, Rudolph would dare to go around the temple where the evil god lived. After taking inventory for a long time, Rudolph finally finished taking stock of his gains. After being promoted to level 6, Rudolph received an epic enhancement. Whether it was his immortality ability, assassination ability, or head-on confrontation ability, they were greatly enhanced. Especially the level 6 Starlight Snake Hydra, which complements Rudolph's weakest frontal attack ability. When encountering enemies in the future, he can let the 200-meter tall, 9-headed Hydra ride on his face and defeat a fleet that is not there. After all, defeating a city is no problem. Rudolph now truly possesses the ability to fight a law and order war that the Alchemy Council feared. However, the title Melting Furnace comes from the mass elimination of high-level alchemists such as the Speaker. It is like a blast furnace for refining molten iron. Rudolph, who had received education in his previous life, was not interested in security warfare. In fact, the wizard can also take some tricks and take a speed route. A level 5 secret formula is immediately followed by a level 6 secret formula, and then a level 7 secret formula. This speed running method upgrades faster, but the speed running wizard's abilities will not be so diverse, and the strength will be much different. Like the whale wizard Wells, Rudolph did not see the abilities of other constellations in him, and his strength seemed very weak. We can't blame Wells for not seeking to make progress. Wells also wanted to complete other secret formulas, but hunting for relics was extremely risky, and he could die in the witch hunt if he wasn't careful. Unlike Rudolph, after incorporating the characteristics of the Phoenix constellation, the growth of strength becomes very smooth. Looking back on the previous path, the Phoenix secret style was the key to his journey as a wizard, and his rebirth saved him a lot of worries. The Starlight Southern ship quickly jumped out of the sea. Rudolph broke away from the hydration technique and stood at the bow of the Southern ship. He found that his copper coins appeared in the direction of the city's hospital. He had only been away for an hour and a half, so why did the conscientious alchemist Devon show up in the hospital? Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 571. Following the guidance of the witchcraft copper coin, Rudolph quickly rushed to the city hospital. The communication witchcraft is very practical. Like the chess pieces of the Black Gold Institute, it allows wizards and witchcraft holders to communicate simple information such as direction and time. The top floor of the city hospital is the VIP ward, which is full of suites, independent bathrooms, a nursing room, and a well-equipped ward. After finding the last position of the copper coin, Rudolph opened the door of the ward and walked in. The crack of the door closed quickly, and through the crack of the door, 8 witch hunters could be seen lying on the aisle outside. They fell to the ground one by one due to poisoning. Rudolph did not take their lives, but just made them unconscious for a while. After more than an hour of absence, Davon's treatment was really good. Medical resources were so tight, and so many witch hunters were arranged outside such a high-level ward. They were afraid that Davin would not cooperate with the treatment. The city hospital was really considerate. After entering the ward, Rudolph first looked at the window. Outside the window was a fence made of alchemical metal to ensure that the people inside could not run away. Devin was very weak on the bed, with 4 bottles of liquid medicine hanging on different parts of his body, and even a needle inserted into the vein of his foot. Devin stammered, wanting to say something to Rudolph, but he couldn't say anything clearly. He looked at the liquid medicine nervously. Rudolph guessed that he meant to pull out the needles. He was still full of energy more than an hour ago, but he became so weak after entering the hospital. There was something wrong with the liquid medicine. After pulling out the 4 needles, Devin's condition was much better, or rather, his mental state was much better, and his expression on his face was much more relaxed. Rudolph didn't have many plague-carrying witchcraft instruments on him, and the only one he could use was a level 3 plague doctor syringe. After giving Devin some treatment, Devin's complexion improved a lot. Rudolph stood outside the window and looked at the hospital gate. Some people were rushing here. He said, "We don't have much time left. What do you want to say?" Devin looked at the strange traveler who appeared again in front of him. Everyone in the city is under the pressure of the speaker. Only you can help me, only you can help the citizens here. Tell me, if it's not too much trouble, I can also move around. These medicines are poisonous. They injected mercury into my body and wanted me to suffer from Minamata disease. Minamata disease? What disease is that? The speaker's nitrogen fertilizer plant discharges toxic wastewater into the sea. The wastewater contains methyl mercury, causing the mercury content in seawater to exceed the standard by hundreds of times. Eating mercury-containing fish and shrimp and drinking mercury-containing groundwater have caused many people to suffer from Minamata disease, but ordinary citizens don't know and just think it's some kind of strange epidemic. What are the symptoms of Minamata disease? Irreversible damage to the nervous system, necrosis of the nervous system, difficulty in movement, blindness and deafness, epilepsy and convulsions, hereditary, will be passed on to children. Rudolph suddenly remembered the child with uncoordinated limbs he saw on the beach. Could he also have Minamata disease? It's hereditary. This is too much. Rudolph looked at the 4 bottles of liquid medicine. Do these liquid medicines contain methyl mercury? Yes, I secretly sent the seawater samples to my teacher in the county. He found a conscientious doctor and said that excessive mercury would cause Minamata disease. After knowing this news, I have always wanted to expose the nitrogen fertilizer plant and the serious condition here. There are too many Minamata patients in the city. The people in the parliament want to get rid of me. The way is to make me suffer from Minamata disease and let me die from my obsession. Let you die from the Minamata disease you want to expose? I have some ideas, but I am immoral. Sir, there is too much mercury in my body. I will die soon. The damage of mercury to the human body is irreversible. Before I die, I want to ask you for one thing. I have hidden a complete investigation report in the basement of the Alchemy Academy. I hope you can take the report to the county and bring it to my teacher. My ability and identity are not enough. My teacher will find a way to uncover the real cause of the Purple Beach disease. I don't dare to trust anyone in this city. The councillors are subordinates controlled by the speaker. The election is a joke. They only listen to the speaker. The police officers are told to take into account the image of the tourist city and the overall situation. The students of the Alchemy College are all rich children. Many of their families are shareholders of the nitrogen fertilizer plant. There are also doctors in the hospital. For plague media, the spread of Minamata disease is a perfect opportunity for promotion. Plague media are more willing to cooperate with the speaker. I can only believe you. You are a foreigner. You come here for a trip, but you may suffer from Minamata disease, or a genetic disease. Aren't you angry and don't want to expose those greedy alchemists? Please, Please take the investigation report away, please help the ordinary people in the city. Devin said a lot of words in one breath, so that after he finished speaking, he began to pant. Rudolph was thinking about whether to agree, but found that Devin began to twitch violently. He hurriedly checked, but he could not do much. Just like what Devin said, the damage of Minamata disease to the nervous system is irreversible. He looked at this abnormal alchemist, wondering what made him so conscientious that he would protest against the nitrogen fertilizer factory. Since the nitrogen fertilizer factory could bring him here and kill him with vicious mercury, it must have great power. You can't even hear me promise you. Rudolph sighed and said. Forget it, I won't promise to send you an investigation report. That will waste too much time. Compared with that method, I am better at destroying the parliament. I am familiar with this, very familiar with it, and it can save my time. I'm going to help you destroy parliament, destroy that nitrogen plant, can you hear me? Devin. Rudolph looked closer and saw that Devin's pupils were dilated and he was dead. Compared with eating fish and shrimp containing mercury, intravenous injection of methyl mercury is too cruel and can directly lead to death. After a long sigh, the alchemical fence outside the window exploded, and Rudolph disappeared into the ward. Not long after, the hospital director hurried into the ward. Didn't we agree that this is our experimental subject? Why are the people in the council so anxious? Why kill him? What a perfect Minamata disease experimental subject this is. How can we meet such a level 3 alchemist? The witch hunter fell to the ground outside the door and the windows were broken. The dean thought it was because the speaker was anxious. He sighed and could only arrange for someone to send Devin's body to the pathological autopsy room, hoping to get more data. The promotion of plague vectors not only requires the creation of epidemics, but also treatment. It is impossible to do without treatment. A man suddenly appeared at the door of a nitrogen fertilizer factory in the suburbs. The security personnel stepped forward and yelled, "Who are you? Why did you come to the nitrogen fertilizer plant in the middle of the night? Don't you know the martial law?" Because of the commotion Rudolph made at sea, the city was under martial law to avoid chaos. Rudolph asked, "Is this the speaker's nitrogen fertilizer plant? How dare you come here when you know it's the speaker's nitrogen fertilizer plant? Get out of here. During martial law, no one is allowed to walk around." That's good. Also, young man, don't speak so harshly. Although it won't kill you, your legs can't be saved. I have to break your legs to make you remember a little longer. Even if you are the speaker, dogs shouldn't be so arrogant. A moment later, a shrill hissing snake sound suddenly appeared outside the nitrogen fertilizer factory, and a 200-meter tall purple starlight snake appeared. Standing above the head of the 200-meter high starlight water snake, Rudolph looked at the huge factory area, feeling a little happy in his heart. Isn't this useful? This is what the ancient giant beast Hydra does. No matter how big the nitrogen fertilizer factory is, it can be bulldozed for you. Hydra. This is Hydra. As people who live next to the Purple Sea, they have seen the portrait of Hydra since childhood, and this 9-headed venomous snake is very easy to identify. For a moment, everyone in the parliament and the tribunal saw the terrifying beast appearing at the nitrogen fertilizer plant. Members of parliament, police officers, and witch hunters all put aside their work and rushed to the speaker's nitrogen fertilizer plant. The speaker's property must be protected.